Good morning and welcome to Emerson Institute at City of Light. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gretz. I'm the senior minister here. It's a delight to have you joining with us for this special class. We're coming to you live from our campus at 3125 Presidential Parkway, Atlanta, Georgia. Let's begin our class by preparing ourselves to receive all that the infinite mind has to offer us. Let's just center our thoughts by taking some deep cleansing breaths and releasing all distractions. I think this is a very valuable exercise, something that we need to do periodically throughout the day. It just helps us reset ourselves into the now, into this moment, and release all those things that may be running through our mind that quite often are simply just distractions. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold for a brief moment, and then release, a deep release through the mouth, letting go of all these distractions. Would you join with me as we do this 3 times? Breathe together. Breathe in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. And in this moment of silence, set your intention for that which you desire to transpire in your life during this time that we share together. Just simply whisper it in mind. And so it is. Well, welcome to class number 7. This is actually lesson number 10 in our ongoing study of the basic principles of science of mind by Frederick Bales. I so appreciate you coming to this class and joining with us each and every week as we go deeper and deeper into understanding some basic principles for our lives that are so foundational, that are going to help to transform our faith, transform our day-to-day journey, that we can live the highest and best that we're called to do so. So today's class begins with treatment for specific conditions continued. We addressed several of those treatment for specific conditions last week. We're continuing on as the author begins to offer us some new insights. Now, we should understand that the body can be healed through spiritual treatment. Again, spiritual treatment being that which we are holding in mind, that which we are treating doubt and fear and questions that may come up within our life that hinder the divine flow of health and wholeness within us. Now, the key is seeing how our inward negative attitudes can be changed sufficiently for us to draw prosperity into our life. So we want to make sure that we have changed these negative attitudes, these negative beliefs, thoughts, or ideas, that we've done it so completely, sufficiently, so that we may draw all the prosperity, the success, the health, the wholeness, the loving relationships that we desire, to draw them into our life. Now, this course constantly stresses principles, because the fundamental principle, once grasped, can be applied to a great number of points. And we can draw anything we desire to our life, that is anything for our growth and for our happiness. So we're stressing these principles over and over again, helping you to understand that understanding these basic, simple rules, shall we say, guidelines, once we grasp them, we can apply them to so many different levels of our day-to-day journey. So let's look at something, and the author is bringing out love and marriage. You know, so many people in our world today are looking for a rewarding relationship with someone. They want that special someone in their life. And as we're looking for that, we want to make sure that we have set down some of these basic principles which will lead us to receiving and opening ourselves up to this wonderful relationship that the universe has for us. So the author's suggestion is that we begin by making a list of what you have to give to a relationship. You know, so often people begin by making a list of these are the things I want from someone else, and not starting, these are the things that I have to offer. So it's beginning to prepare ourselves for love, to get ready for love. To get ready for love means that we begin to do an inventory of the wonderful things that we're willing to offer. Are we offering patience and kindness? Are we offering partnership and a sense of security? Are we willing to offer love and to offer the highest and best for our beloved who's coming into our lives? So asking yourself, what do I have to offer that will bring completion to the life of the other? When I lived in India, living with an Indian family, I was able to participate with so many of their traditions. And the young man of the family was getting ready to get married in an arranged marriage. And he was going to meet his fiancée for the first time for about 15 minutes, a couple of months before the actual wedding ceremony. Now, this would be their first encounter. And I said, wow, what will you say to her? And he said, well, I'm going to ask her, are you prepared to do your job? I said, well, that's not very romantic. But she's going to ask me the very same thing. Are you prepared to do your job? You see, in an arranged marriage, each one works at fulfilling and completing the needs of the other. And that's priority one, because he said in these arranged marriages, we grow in love. We don't fall in love and trip ourselves up, fall all over ourselves in emotional feelings of lust and excitement and not realizing, wait a minute, this relationship requires work. So it begins by making a list of what are you offering? What are you willing to offer the other person to bring completion to their life? Are you willing to make some concessions? Are you willing to be a compromising person? Are you willing to make room for that person in your life? Because I find so often people are looking for relationships, but they're not willing to make space for another person within their life. So they're quite often saying, well, I want someone else in my life to live my life. It's a shared life. It's a shared relationship. So how are you willing to make adjustments for that beloved coming into your life? Remember, we must give happiness in order to receive it. So we have to first think about what kind of contentment and peace can I bring to the relationship? What level of understanding of love for myself that I can give to love towards someone else? You can't give what we don't already acknowledge or already have. So we have to make sure, do I love myself? Am I at peace with myself? Have I accepted myself fully? Because this is all the work that we do to get ready to be in a loving relationships. Because if we don't love ourselves first and foremost, we're not going to be very good at loving anyone else. So for great success, it all begins by making a list of what you have to bring to the relationship, what you're willing to give. And then following that, asking, what do I expect to receive in this relationship? And using the law of reflection, meaning like a mirror, it reflects only that which is placed in front of it. We want to make sure that we have a clear definition of the desire of our heart of that perfect mate. It's not enough to say, I want to marry someone or be in relationship with someone or want to have a beloved person in my life, because, just about anybody can come into your life and you may say, whoa, wait. I don't want to marry that person, or I don't want to be with that person forever. I don't enjoy being around them. I don't find this sense of companionship that I was thinking of. What we need to do is to project the type of person, the feeling of the desire that we want to manifest within our lives. So, versus getting caught up in, I want a woman who's, got a fabulous figure and she's got brunette hair and she's got dark brown eyes or whatever it may be. Or maybe you're thinking, I want a man in my life who's 6'2" and he's got beautiful blonde hair and gorgeous blue eyes, or whatever that may be. Quite often we get caught up in the physical. And in the physical imagery of what we're desiring, we're missing out on capturing the feeling of what we really want. Because quite often we can attract that physical being, but may not fall deeply in love or be able to grow in love with them because the feeling isn't there. And let me tell you, the day-to-day relationship is always grounded in a feeling. Every day waking up with the feeling, wow, I have my beloved, and I am able to offer my highest and best to my beloved. And when you wake up with that feeling, that joy of seeking the highest and best for the other, you'll find this great journey on a road to growing deeper in love and finding that fulfillment. So I encourage people in loving relationships to always think, what can I do for the other person to make their day better? Each one of you are using that as your focus. The feeling of wanting to do something for others brings about great joy and contentment and great rewards within our lives. The next question we may ask is, is to acknowledge, that what you're seeking is seeking you. And this is applicable to all aspects of our life because, let me tell you, if you're seeking success, success is really seeking you. If you're seeking prosperity and abundance, this prosperity is seeking you. Loving relationships, they're seeking you. If that's what you're seeking, it's out there and wanting to come together in this beautiful merger, this connection, this intersection where we find this connection between that which we're seeking and that which is seeking us. Interesting how we may say quite often as we go to find a pet. We may stop at a pet shop and people are saying, I'll know which one is the perfect pet for me because I'll sense that they were looking for me just as much as I was looking for them. And they sense this sort of connection that's there. They may look at all kinds of adorable puppies, but one in particular stands out because they feel like that puppy chose you just as much as you are choosing that puppy. So what we're looking for in life is really also looking for us. So we must know that everything, past, present, and future, is now floating out in this stream of consciousness that we call infinite mind. We do not so much as originate thought as that we register that thought that already is in the infinite mind. So it's already out there. That perfect person is out there. That perfect home that you want to buy. That perfect puppy that you would like to have in your life. That perfect health and relationship with perfection within your body is there. And what we have to do is we don't create it or originate it, but we register with the thought that's already out there, that the infinite mind knows the desire of our heart before we even ask. So the infinite mind is already known of it, and it's already prepared. It's already there. So what we want to do is align ourselves with it. We want to make sure that we are in full awareness of the divine mind and its intention for the highest and best for our lives. So often one of the big barriers in our journey is we battle with this. I don't deserve this, Oh, it sounds fabulous to have someone special in my life. Oh, it sounds fabulous to be prosperous and successful. Oh, it sounds great to be healthy and whole, but you know what? I don't know that I deserve it. I feel unworthy of it. We've been beaten down so much in life and our society and culture and in religion, telling us constantly we're unworthy and that we are not worthy of the highest and best. Or that the highest and best or great success and abundance and all these things, they're there for someone other than us. Let me tell you, we need to work on that. We need to work first and foremost on understanding that the divine, infinite mind is desirous of our great success, and that we need to awaken to that level and match our thinking with the divine mind thinking. Okay? So the infinite possibilities of what we call God, the infinite mind, the infinite wisdom of what we call God, this whole universe of all goodness, God being the all good, its level of thought is at the highest level of vibration. We need to raise ourselves up to that level, come up to that level by releasing any thoughts of not being worthy or not being capable of receiving or living in our highest and best. So we're moving into the level of infinite mind, thinking as if, thinking in that infinite mind. Scripture says, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. Let this consciousness, this same mind of God, infinite wisdom, let it be dwelling in you. For Jesus was the great example of someone who allowed the God consciousness to really radiate and flow in and through and around him at all times. That enabled him to be the great manifester, the great teacher of wisdom, the great example for our journey. Now, a scientist who makes a discovery really means that this person was sensitive enough in the department of their thinking to register ideas that are carried along this river of infinite mind, okay? So all of this great wisdom of the universe has always been available to us. How to create the wheel was always there. It's just suddenly man became sensitive enough to thinking and opening himself up to, wow, how could I create a vehicle of transportation? I need a wheel. What does it look like? What would it be like? And how do things move? And let me be sensitive in infinite mind as I observe the world around me. I see a rock or boulder rolling down the mountainside. How about I create a wheel that's square? Oh, no, that won't work. How about I create one that's triangle? No, that won't work. Round like the boulder. And that infinite mind then has offered to that person this wonderful discovery. Do we have a question coming in?
Yes.
Great.
So since everything, all knowledge and wisdom exists and always has existed, does that mean that no one yet has been sensitive enough to grasp the idea to formulate the cure for cancer?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
But why?
Why? Quite often we are struggling in thought. A lot of times we just think we have to make it through our own way. Let me tell you this. The scriptures talks about the Holy Spirit, this spirit of infinite wisdom, coming upon our lives and granting to us knowledge. And I think what we're missing quite often in life is an openness to allow the Holy Spirit to impart wisdom and knowledge to us. We're constantly working within our own human mind and its limitations. And we're trying to work things through on our own instead of saying infinite mind, wisdom of divine. I welcome solution. I welcome insight and ideas. Begin to let me think in that divine mind realm and releasing myself from the bondage of the five senses of this physical world. So often we're stuck working in the five senses. If I don't feel it, if I don't taste it, I don't touch it, I don't hear it. We're stuck in this realm constantly. Let's move beyond. Let's move beyond. I don't need to taste it, touch it, smell it, see it. I don't need to do that. I begin to now open my mind to infinite wisdom that goes beyond this realm of the physical world. And I think that's really where we begin to open ourselves up to the divine mind or the infinite mind. Anne has a comment.
Exactly. I think all it's going to take for a cure for cancer is one message, but it's gotta meet the right open mind. So, practice on opening your mind is what
Exactly. Open your mind to possibilities. Begin to think within that realm. And again, so often our conscious mind is focused on the problem. And we keep thinking, cancer. Here's what's wrong versus solution. Here's what can be right and correct. And so what we want to do is shift our thinking to just be now not dwelling in the issue or the problem, but to allow ourselves to dwell in the realm of solutions and begin to just contemplate what it looks like, feels like to have the answer. What does it feel like to have the answer to cancer? And work back from that. How does it feel that we've cured cancer? And we work back from that. So we look and every solution that we're looking for, that we're seeking, infinite mind is already there. We can go to the solution, go to the answer and say, okay, I see it already resolved. It's already done. Now let me work back from there and think, how might Spirit offer me ideas and solutions and pathways to accomplish just that? All right, another comment.
Okay, so the mystics throughout all time who appear to have been at a higher level of conscious awakening than the rest of the population, but their job was not to seek answers or solutions to cure disease and other things, but to help the race awaken spiritually. Is that the purpose of the mystics?
Definitely. Now, if we awaken spiritually, and that's where it all begins, great transformation is going to happen on multiple levels. So this is why I'm so passionate to say, as a pastor, senior minister of City of Light, I want to teach spiritual truth. Once you get spiritual truth, the byproducts from that are amazing. We will discover social action. We will discover how to be more loving and kind and gentle and more open. We will discover how to move from the physical realm into the spiritual realm and live from that. I believe that there is all kinds of things that will happen if we just begin by grasping the basic spiritual principles and starting to put them to work. So we've got to start there, and everything else will flow from that. David, another comment.
But you don't ever think that maybe at some point in time that a mystic would say, well, since I'm so open to receive what the infinite mind has to share, then I will draw up, or I will focus on the cure for cancer. I mean, when you think about it in that sense, are mystics just give information and try to get us to be open? But why can't any of them, or why haven't any of them decided to open themselves to the cure for cancer?
Well, I think because the purpose of the mystic is spiritual teaching. Okay. So we're focusing on the main thing. So it's kind of like McDonald's does not serve pizza, or McDonald's does not have linen tablecloths and do fine dining. It sticks with the main thing being the main thing, and that's fast food. And they do it well, and that's why they're successful. So I think the problem we have as spiritual teachers, when we start getting into all different kinds of things beyond spiritual teaching, we begin to water down, and we begin to move away from keeping the main thing. So great mystics were there to say, let me give you spiritual principles so that you as the doctor, or you as the scientist, or you as the medical person working in the field of cancer might apply these things, because your main thing is health and finding cures. So your main thing is that, and your main thing is, you need to keep the main thing, and you don't need to deviate into something else. So, this is where, again, if we keep our focus really on the main thing, everything that comes from that will be a byproduct. And
so I look at it this way. Right now it's like a duality. There's science and there's spirituality. And that's what Braden and Dr. Joe Dispenza and a lot of the people that are trying very hard to blend the two.
Yes.
That's when we're going to find a cure. And that's the big transformation that the mystic people, whoever, are saying is coming about in our world now. And
yes.
I don't think it's going to be too far in the future either, because science is coming closer and closer and closer to spirituality, and it's going to take somebody that can blend the two, but that's when it's going to come.
And so we have science of the mind being the infinite wisdom of God, and the science of it. And so the teachings that we're offering are bringing these two together. Science in logical reasoning and understanding with the spirituality of the feeling, coupling knowing and emotion, the masculine and the feminine coming together, we become creative beings. So it is. That's why we're working so hard here at Emerson Institute to provide this kind of education. Now, if those of you who are watching and who are viewing this video feel inclined to work in the medical fields, let me offer you some basic principles that you can apply, and we hope that you find the cure for cancer. Now, also, I will say that thousands of years ago, people probably didn't know the word cancer or even what was going on in the body. So we've been on this progression where a lot of people had to begin to discover some basic things because we don't know what we don't know. And so a lot of people just didn't know what is this problem. what is it, this disease that we're having? We don't know what it is. So we don't even know what we're addressing, and we don't know how to work through it. And
you know, when my grandson was born, Heather looked at him and she said, he's going to find a cure for cancer. And I thought, yeah, okay, and he's been diagnosed with some learning disabilities, and so we'll just see what happens. And you said they do that in Kenya also. When a baby is born, they say something about the baby.
Yes,
and
yes.
the feeling,
Exactly. And it's beginning to set in consciousness the expectation for this child of that which you're believing to be, what the child's going to unfold as. And so then you as the parent, if you set the expectation to say that my child is going to be this great successful person, well, you're going to lay down everything. You're going to do everything you can to help the child achieve that goal. So great to set that expectation and that intention. Now, Dr. David Carter, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Let me also say to anyone who is watching this class session, if you have a question or comment, please feel free to ask. We appreciate them so much. Love to have those interruptions. We don't find them as challenging at all, but we'd love to visit, love to connect on a more personal level with these class sessions that we're really answering the questions that are burning on your heart. So feel free to ask. I appreciate that. So what we find then is that this infinite mind is ceaselessly separating that which is not in harmony and drawing together that which is in harmony. So the infinite mind, God, is constantly separating those things that are not in unity and in harmony and in oneness with our lives and drawing together that which is and attracting. We talk about the law of attraction, this spiritual law, that this is how the divine works. This is how the science of God, shall we say, the science of this infinite mind works. That it's attracting that which is set out there as likes attract likes. It's drawing to it. And it's repelling those things that are not like or not in harmony. So when you're setting out an intention for a beloved person in your life, a partner, a spouse, a marriage, whatever it may be, or you're setting an intention for some level of prosperity or blessing in your life or success, what you're doing is setting this forth, and you are with great specifics in feeling, casting this out, and you know that the universe then says, this is what we're attracting. And those things that are not like that which you've described are being repelled or being released. So, perfect example for us as here in the city of Light, when we were purchasing a new building, we found one that we thought was just perfect in so many ways. But the universe knew the feeling and the vision we had. Now, that building had lots of opportunities available in it, space-wise, but also needed a lot of repair and modification to meet our needs. And in the long run, that building, which we thought we'd put the offer in and the offer was actually accepted, well, it fell by the wayside and it didn't move forward because something better was there. And this is a perfect example of the universe saying, this is not quite in complete harmony with your vision, because your vision was creating this spiritual center, a center where there'd be many different ministries in the building, all collaborating together. That's your true vision. This building could be, but it's not as good as something else. So because it's not fully aligning, it's going to be repelled and it's going to be pushed away from you. So what happened is that whole business, that purchase fell through. We went on to find something else. And we actually found this right and perfect building that was truly attracted to us. That we put it up, the universe was drawing us to us to find this location. We went through all kinds of exercises in this process, but it was being drawn to us. And when we looked at the photograph for the first time of this building, I can remember board members looking at it and go, wow, look at this place. Let's go see it. Let's get in the car right now. Let's drive over to this location. Let's go look at it. We were actually feeling that when we drove in the parking lot, looking at this building, that we were being drawn to it, and it was drawing us. You see, that's how the universe works, in beautiful harmony. Now, let me tell you this. Don't worry about geographic locations. You may say, well, wait a minute. I live in this small rural town. I'll never find somebody who will be the dream partner for my life. I'm just not meeting people. I'm not living in a big metropolitan environment where all these people come. I'm not going to clubs and bars and restaurants and all this kind of stuff. First of all, don't worry about locations, because again, your worry is getting involved in the how. So we release all of that, because the omnipresence, that which we call the divine, that which we call God, is present everywhere in the world and knows exactly where your desired manifestation is. And when properly approached, we will bring it to you. So don't worry about the geographic location. Dr. David Carter has a question.
So that's saying be open, and in the process of the universe bringing your manifestation to you, is it possible that in that process that your location would change as well? Because sometimes you
yes.
say, well, I love living here, but my desire is A, B, and C. And if I'm open to that, it could manifest here, or I could be drawn to where it is.
That's true. That could be the case, or that person could be drawn to you. Because, certainly as I was looking for my life 20 years ago, the universe provided for the opportunity to me from Minneapolis to Atlanta. And at that same time, Robert was here in Atlanta, and he was doing preparation within his own life, getting ready to love. And what we came in this wonderful synchronicity of an intersection of our two lives coming together. So don't worry about the geographic locations. Don't worry about a lot of stuff. Don't worry is the bottom line. Because in God, there is certainty. Do you understand that? In God, there is certainty. There is no need for uncertainty in the divine, because God knows. The universe already knows the desire of your heart. So what you have to do is simply just open yourself up with such great certainty that it is unfolding for you. Now, please know that there is no competition for love or any desired outcome in this world. We may think, well, what about, there's competition in my world for success, and there's competition for prosperity, and there's competition for relationships, all this kind of stuff. I live in a world that's so competitive. We are never in competition with anyone who we might consider as having more appeal or ability or capability than we have. We are to constantly ask simply, am I the best me that I can be? I'm not comparing myself to someone else. I'm not looking at someone else. I'm not saying, oh, look at them. They're going to be more likely to be in a relationship. They're more likely to be successful. They're more likely to have prosperity. You know how it is. A lot of people would say, oh, a tall man is going to be more successful than a short man. How many people have proved that wrong? But we have this idea that, if I was only taller, that man is 6'4". He's going to be more successful than I am. Even in the realm of sports, say for instance basketball, there's been some pretty dynamic basketball players that have not been 6 foot tall. It's all about capability. It's all about belief in yourself. It's all about, the question is, I'm not going to compare myself to somebody else. I'm going to work on, am I the best me? Because let me tell you this, there is no other person in this planet, in this universe, like you. You are the only one. You are the only you. You're extremely unique, and that's fantastic. So if you're not going to be the best you, no one can be the best you, because no one can be you. Only you can be you. So be the best you. As my daughter competed in pageantry, she was coached quite often to say, you never compare yourself to any other girl in the pageant. The minute you do that, you've lost. Because you have lost your confidence. You have surrendered it to say, oh, look at her. Her figure is better. Her more attractive. She's more this, she's more that. Look at her dress or her gown or how she looks in a swimsuit, or look at her talent or her capabilities or her interview skills. She's so smart and I'm not. And you're comparing yourself in all these areas. The only competition you have is with yourself. And in pageantry, you constantly ask, am I the best me? If you were the best me in the pageant, you won. Not necessarily that you got the title or the crown, but you were the winner because all you are doing is working on developing the best you. So that's the beautiful thing about pageantry, is that you are working on you and you're not trying to be someone else. Don't try to be anyone else. And oh my Lord, there are people who say, oh, I want to look like so-and-so. I want to be like so-and-so. They're my role model. I want to just be you and be the best you. Because people don't want a copy of something else. They want an original. Be that original. So know that there's no competition in this world for love or for any desired outcome, such as prosperity or success. Stop thinking of the reasons your desire will not come true. Oh, my Lord, do we do that quickly? We begin to say, oh, I'm looking for someone in my life, but you know what? It's probably never going to happen. You know what? I'm not that social. You know what? I don't know where to go. Oh, you know what? I'm not out there in the world. I can name all these reasons why this is not going to come true. And this negative attitude will block the channels through which your good might come to you. So the desire of your heart is already out there in this river of divine flow. It's already there. It's flowing out there. And for you to receive this, you've got to have the clear channels, the open channels that say, stop saying this will never happen. Because when you say it will never happen, the universe hears that word and says, okay, you believe it will never happen. And according to your beliefs is how you act. And the universe says, make sure that it never happens. Because that's what that person is claiming constantly over and over again. Now, here's some other examples of these principles at work. The author goes into talking about when it comes to sales. Let's just say you're in a business of sales, and the importance is to see yourself in sales as a service to others. Treat in your prayers, treat that there are thousands of persons who are not really satisfied with what they have, but they really want the goods that you have to sell. And see yourself helping others in this context. This is a major shift as you begin to see this is how I'm assisting someone, I'm helping someone. I'm doing a work of helping people to achieve a goal in their life. When it comes to finding the right housing, looking for an apartment, looking for the right home to buy. Infinite mind that we call God, the infinite mind, the infinite wisdom of the universe knows where that place is. And when we release our desire to it, well, a movement starts happening. It starts the mind to open up the channels for bringing together your finding this right and perfect place. When I was looking for a home to purchase that would be the right and perfect one, I had a lot of feeling, very much so with clarity listed out. This is what I feel. This is what I know when I see the house. I will feel this house. I will feel this when I walk into the house. So the infinite mind knew the desire of my heart and kept, shall we say, releasing or distracting or pulling away homes that did not match that feeling, and leading me in a pathway, bringing me finally to the location of the home that I own and love so much because it meets the desire of my heart and meets that manifestation that I so set forth into the universe. Never forget that the infinite mind is the knower. The infinite mind is the knower. It knows. It knows where all persons and places and things are that are in harmony with one another. It knows where it is. It knows where that perfect house is. It knows where that perfect spouse is. It knows where that perfect friend or relationship is. Perfect success or job is. And it will always bring it together. And it would be happening right now if it wasn't for our ignorance. Our ignorance. our ignorance around accepting the divine infinite wisdom knows the desires of our heart before we even ask. So our work is not to sit despondently wishing or praying that our negative conditions will change, but to select positive, constructive thoughts. Not, change this condition. No, change my thoughts. And positive thoughts into the infinite mind. Then leave the rest to God, that creative power that will bring about the conclusion. So it's like, I wish my single condition of being a living alone would change. I wish it would change. I wish it would change. Stop focusing on what the problem is and now saying, my thoughts are changing. I see my power. I am not living alone. I see myself in a loving context. I see myself in a relationship that's rewarding and fulfilling and joyful and complete on so many levels. I'm changing my thought from it'll never happen to, whoa, get ready, it's happening now. And I shift and make that mindset to allow things to transpire within our life. Let's move on to our next chapter. It's lesson number 11, entitled Practical Aids in Treatment. What we want to do is work on turning away from the false to concentrate our focus and our attention on the correct belief. Okay. The correct belief is, it is done unto you as you believe. Means that the way you believe. When the conviction of the power outweighs the fear of the condition, both the quality and quantity of the belief are now satisfactory. The conviction, the assurance, the knowing, the confidence of the power of the divine at work, it's outweighing the fear, the problem of the condition, no, it's much more, it outweighs it. This is a powerful belief, a power belief in our life, because it's done to us as we believe. So, how are you believing? What's the way that you believe? This is what's so important. We must understand that we are not healers. And I find it very uncomfortable when people say, what do you do? What's your ministry? I'm a healer. Well, we're not really healers. The one giving the treatment is not a healer. But we do change our own false belief about the person's condition. And in doing so, we tune in on the very principle with which we have access and which will accomplish the healing. So we're not the healers. The healing energy and work is out there. We're just the one creating and helping to facilitate that right and perfect environment for the healing to happen. One of our problems is in the realm of offering treatment to see someone's health and wholeness transpire is we think, I'm not good enough. I don't know the eloquent, fancy words in treatment. I'm not good at this. Or we may think, I am so good. Look at me. I am a healer. I am this arrogance that you begin to think you're the best. So both of these things can be a challenge for us in the process, where we think we're not good enough, or we think we are the end all. So here's some helps in doing these in treatment. Some different methods that maybe help us in being more effective in our prayer treatment. Again, prayer treatment is removing all doubt and fear that is a roadblock to that which is already out there flowing in the divine river of divine mind. It's already, the answers are already there. So what we want to do is work on shifting our beliefs, our thoughts, and our ideas. So number one, first example he gives is the dissolving method. So we might hold in mind that the illness that we're treating for is dissolving. It's just melting away. Yeah. It's just now dissolving away. We see it in mind. That the condition is just, everything about it is being solved. So we're now calling forth that we see perfection and wholeness. That which is an obstacle to that perfection and health and wholeness, perfect body, perfect mind, perfect God, all of that at work within us is just being dissolved. How about the refusal method? And this is, I refuse to accept or take delivery of this kind of thinking, or this issue or this challenge, I refuse it. I'm not going to invite it in. I'm not going to welcome it in. I close the door to it. I simply say no. I refuse any kind of thought of lack, poverty, any kind of thought of unworthiness. I release any kind of thought of fear or stress and anxiety. I refuse it. Then he calls this next method the escalator method. I've stepped on the escalator and it's taking me to a higher place. How? I don't always understand, but I just know that when I step on the escalator, I am being elevated, right? So we don't often think about the how. How are the mechanics? When you step on an elevator, do you ask, wait a minute, how's this thing working? Let's see the conveyor belts. Let's see the mechanics. Let's see the chains, and let's see all the things that are working in together. I need to see the mechanics of this before I believe it. No. What do? You see it moving up. You get on the escalator, and you have complete trust in it. You don't even ask the how. You just know that it is elevating you, taking you to a higher place of comprehension and understanding. How about the focal method, where we may see healing rays of light flowing down on the person and seeing the healing power working on this person right now. Maybe you're praying for your hip and you're just right now visualizing the healing rays of light now working on that hip and the pain that I'm feeling in there. And it is just dissolving. I'm refusing any kind of pain that's coming at me. And I am moving on up in this escalator method to this higher place of understanding. How about the replacement method? So where you replace your image of the person and their condition with the image of their perfection. I see perfect. I see perfection. I see complete wholeness. How about the architect method? The author is suggesting is that we do not treat the body, we treat the underlying thought. So the intelligence that builds this structure, this body, knows exactly what to do to reconstruct it. So we speak now to the divine architect of this universe. We speak now that the intelligence, the infinite wisdom is now working through every cell, rebuilding, reconstructing this body into complete wholeness and wellness. And we see this rebuilding as perfect. Now, remember, our work is only to correct the tendency to look at the outer effect. Our work in prayer treatment is to correct this, because our tendency is, let me look at this illness. Let me look at this problem. My eyes are on the problem. I'm focused on the problem. I'm focused on the issue. I'm focused on the sickness. That's what occupies our mind. But we want to stop looking at the outer effect and changing our viewpoint to focus on the inner cause. The inner cause to this dis-ease. Yes, Dr. David Carter, you have a question or a comment? Hashi, welcome. Good to see you.
Her comment is, when we feel dark, we need a little encouragement and support to discover our path. I got encouragement from alone and nothing comes on my mind. Thank you so much. You can understand the problem without saying anything.
And Hashi, I want you to know that you're in my thoughts and prayers for your great success and your prosperity. And Allah knows, God knows exactly the desire of your heart and what you need. And I want you to know that as you open your heart with this spirit of yes, it's all coming. Yes, I believe the answers are there. Stop focusing on the challenge or the problem, but welcome the solution. It's coming to you now. I believe it. And I'm joining with you, and I can't wait to hear how the solutions in your life are manifesting. God bless you. All right, now remember, our work then is correcting our viewpoints, that we're not focusing on problems, we're focusing on solutions. And we're working on changing from fear and doubt to celebrating confidence and the wonderful sense of knowing. Lastly, the author wants to bring about this to help us understand ourselves a little bit better. That man is really a three-storied being, okay? So let's just take a moment to take a look at that, and I hope everyone can see this on our board. And I may need a black marker instead of a blue, but we'll see how the blue works. So what we have here is the three stories. It's spirit, mind, and body. So this sort of makes up humanity, and sort of we stand on this. Let's illustrate this a little bit more. So the body rests on the five senses. Our physical body is all consumed with the five senses. And so what happens is we are living in a world of limitation. And you know what? We actually can, if we wish, live on earth with no mental life, no thoughts, just letting life take care of us, no, intentional direction, giving our life no intentional direction. We can just go with whatever's happening. We can live that way. The body being so consumed in the five senses. And that can be our level of life. Now, next is the level of the mind in humanity that receives mental impressions from the intellect and emotion of knowing and feeling. And we change our mind and we change our attitude. And what happens is our circumstances now begin to experience change. Change your thinking, you change your world. Change your thoughts, change your attitude. If you're living right now in fear and doubt and questioning, and you're feeling a sense of financial challenge and lack in your life, change your thinking. God is making a way when there seems to be no way. And I welcome that way. That way is unfolding. So our mind then is receiving mental impressions. Then the next level is spirit. And the spirit receives spiritual impressions, direct knowledge from above without conscious mental process. Open your life to the Spirit of God speaking to you. That the Spirit wants to speak to you and impart infinite wisdom, ideas, creativity, solutions for you in your life. Just allow the divine to give you the answers that you so seek. So it begins. We can live in the world of the body, physical. We can move on up and start to begin to welcome in our life. Thank you, Anne. Welcome in our life the impressions of intellect and emotion. But we can even go to a higher level of welcoming the very infinite wisdom of God to speak to us and guide us, grant us insight, give us knowledge. Awaken our intuition, awakening our intuitive spirit as the Holy Spirit begins to speak to us and guide us into ways of greater understanding and knowledge. Within our life, we may just feel like something outside of us is leading us. Years ago, I was teaching in Holland, and I had some time off, and I wanted to go to Utrecht, a city in northern Holland, just to experience some of the wonderful Dutch culture. I'm Dutch, and I had the opportunity of visiting many of my relatives and enjoying the Holland. And my cousin was a headmaster of a school. He'd given me a job teaching for a brief time in a girls' high school in southern Holland. Well, I went to the train station, bought my ticket with all preparation. I was going to this city in northern Holland to enjoy a weekend and do some, be just a general tourist, and enjoy some sightseeing. And I sent a postcard off to my parents living in the United States, letting them know what I was going to be doing. And something spoke to me, a divine inspiration, saying, no, you've got time. Buy that ticket and go to Paris instead. You could take the train. You could be there in a matter of hours. You could spend the weekend in Paris. You've always wanted to go there. Go and spend some time. And I always planned. I'm going to go to Utrecht. I'm going to go to this city. I want, and the struggle. And suddenly there was this something inside me was saying, no, don't. And I purchased the ticket, exchanged the ticket, boarded the train, went to Paris. What I didn't realize is that train that was headed north was taken over by terrorists, South Moluccan terrorists, in that year held that train captive for 45 days. It was noted that there were Americans on board that train. Now, my parents in the United States received the news. Oh, the train, the Dutch train going to Utrecht, was now being held captive by terrorists, and there are Americans on board. And I've got a postcard from my son saying he had boarded that train on that day. And that's their thought of worry and fear and questioning. I had no idea. Now, I was enjoying myself in Paris, and then I returned back home and still enjoying it, not really thinking anything about it, but certainly hearing the news. And then one day, making this connection and thinking, I need to tell my parents, I was not on that train. Ah, wonderful. How did that happen in my life? I believe that was spirit. That was infinite, divine impression coming upon me of a spirit mind just saying, I'm leading your life, and I'm offering you this insight, the spirit, shall we say, repelling that which is not in harmony with my life and attracting to me that which is in harmony in my life. This is the beautiful work of the Spirit. So here's what we want to understand. We are living as physical beings, yes, but we are spiritual entities living in this physical body. That's really where we are. So we want to move ourselves to these higher levels in our day-to-day journey and live in a different perspective. Not living as a body, but living as mind that is open to spirit, open to the infinite mind, that which is the wisdom and insight of God, ever available to each and every one of us. Now, thank you for joining us for this class session today. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. If you have any questions, we encourage you to share them with us or comments, because we're closing out with the question is, what's your takeaway? That's right. Every class session, I'm going to ask you, what are you taking away from this time that we've shared together? What did you learn? What spoke to you? What resonates within your heart? We'd love to hear from you. So if you take a moment to type in what's speaking to you, what lesson you have received, or what really has touched your inner spirit, we'd love to hear it from you, what your takeaway is. While we're waiting, we're going to ask our students who are gathered here in our classroom for our live streaming session to share their insights of what they are taking away. Let's begin with Steve Guillen. Steve, tell us what spoke to you today.
Well, a few things. Page 3 of the notes, it says, know that you have a silent partner who is ready to bring to you your desire. The only thing that can stop this partner is our own destructive thinking. I think some people, their partner is, regarding this, is maybe the father or the mother, or if they want to use an impersonal name like the source or the universe. For me, it's the beloved.
Good.
That's what I refer to. I also like, when it comes to, AIDS and treatment work, the methods. I enjoy that list of methods of, what would kind of putting, a toolbox together.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But another thing is right here.
That's all right.
Yeah. This right here, I like this because, in psychology, they focus on mind and body. They focus on nature and nurture. And I know there was a psychologist, James Hillman, who said there's a third, category, which is spirit. I think he used the word soul. But, there's more than just nature and nurture. There's soul. Like an example is you could be in a family or an environment where the idea is, you need to go into legal work. But for some reason, your spirit's saying, no, you need to be like maybe go into the humanitarian work or something along,
Right.
helping something that may not be as prestigious as like high-powered lawyer, not as, financially well off, but yet if you ignore the call of the spirit, the vocation, it doesn't matter what your mind is or your body is, you're going to suffer, because if you ignore this top part, the rest is going to suffer.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent takeaway. Thank you so much. Dr. David Carter, what's your takeaway for today?
On page 4 where it says, remember our work is to only correct the tendency to look at the outer effect, the physical. thus changing our viewpoint to focus on the inner cause, which is eternally perfect. That was huge for me.
Great. Excellent. I love that one. All right, let's go to Anne. You want to step a little closer so we can hear your takeaway? The camera will pick it up for us.
Okay. A couple of things. One is I made a list of the things that I do have to offer a relationship while you were talking. And I decided after doing that I would not settle for anything less. And that's new for me, and that's what the Emerson program has done and helped me do, is to build that self-esteem, that understanding of myself, so I realize, bring it into focus that I have that to give to someone else also. And I loved in God there is certainty. Just open up. Just be certain. Don't waver at all. And I like the assurance that, just the assurance of it all. And also I realize that shift happens. So perfect mind, perfect body, perfect everything in prayer treatment so that the shift can take place. And I think that's all. This was a good one. Thank you.
Great. Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, do we have any comments from those who are viewing our class? All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We hope that you enjoyed the Emerson Institute offering today. And if you were touched by this and this class really resonated with you, we'd appreciate it if you could make a generous offering, a gift or donation towards the Emerson program to keep our school running top-notch. We've got so many visions and plans we are believing for, and we appreciate your generous support of just that. You can give by going to our website at www.cityoflightatlanta.com, and your generous donations are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you next week, of course, as we continue this class. And we're rounding it out with the final session. We're going to do a great review of all these wonderful principles that we've learned, that we can apply them in so many different ways. So don't miss next week's class, our final class in the series. Then along with that, we hope to see you on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Joining us for our celebration service here, coming live from City of Light on Sundays. God bless you. You have a great week. I know something great is in store for you. I'm claiming it. I believe it within me, my heart. I visualize it. I see it. And I know it's there for you. In that certainty, I stand now and proclaim it. God bless you. I'll see you next week.